Right.
That's really, and you're very, very good at really how to do it. You don't just say.
I feel like that's my
Yeah.
superpower.
It is.
Right.
It is, at least one of them. Because, you can give great information, but if you don't tell me exactly where, to dot that I, then I'm lost, So that's really, you're really gifted at that.
Thank you.
All I do is grind all the time, cause I see me, I'm in mine, and I'm running out of mine. Got a bit of stress on my, little bit of sleep, and yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah, I'm one of them.
All right, so we are at Podcast Movement right now in Anaheim, California, just a step away from Disneyland. And we're here because it's one of my favorite events. I speak here almost every year. I've done the keynote before. I'm coming back next year. I think next year it's in Philadelphia. But, I hardly go to any of the sessions. Why? Because I love to just roam the halls and talk to people. That's just one of my favorite things to do. If you're not going to events, that's why you go, to talk to people, right? And yeah, you can learn a few things here and there at the talks, but it's really the talking that happens in between the talks where you get the most value, right? It's all about building relationships. So let's go build some more relationships, yeah?
See me, I'm in mine, and I'm running out of mine. Got a bit of stress on my.
Yeah, I had a session yesterday, and it was at 10 a.m., which is perfect. I get really nervous before I speak, so often they have me until the very end, and I get super just freaked out about it, and I can't stop thinking about it. But I got one done yesterday, which is good, so I don't have to speak again. And I'm just, again, here to talk to people and meet fans. And we have a meetup later on, which you're going to come to. It's going to be a lot of fun. The students of my course, Power Up Podcasting, who are here at this event, some people who aren't even attending this event are going to be there too. And it's at Downtown Disney, and we'll get to meet some of the actual students who have paid good money to be a part of this course. And so I want to be there and thank them, and I have a little surprise for them too, which I've teased them about. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And those meetups, they're really cool because people get to meet each other, and in this world, it's hard to find other people who can understand the same language that we speak. When I go to conferences like this, it's like you find your people, right? Nathan Locke, good guy. I think there's 4 or 5 different booths here about just helping people hook up with interviews and stuff. It just shows you podcasting is growing, which is good for all of us. That guy right there, I owe a lot of credit to him. His name is Philip Taylor, or PT Money as he's known. He is the founder of FinCon, which is a conference that I speak at. And it was the very first conference of his, but it was also the very first time I spoke. But then I remember he called me just a few weeks before the event. And he's like, hey, our closing keynote, he's not coming. Can you fill in that spot for us? And I was like, okay. And it became the worst 3 weeks of my life because I was just preparing for this thing I'd never done before. But after speaking on stage and the welcoming that I got at FinCon, I just fell in love with speaking. I fell in love with that community. I'm speaking there later this year in Dallas, and just one of the nicest people I know. So this is Samson, which is a brand. They make microphones and things like that. I was doing my own live streaming, so I had my phone. All these cords were hanging out because I had a lavalier mic, but he pulled me aside because Samson has a solution for mobile wireless, a mobile wireless setup that you can use for recording interviews, Facebook Lives, things like that. I got a demo of it yesterday. It's really, really cool. So Randy's been a longtime follower of SPI, and so, one of the cool things that I love about doing this thing and meeting people is, you don't forget the faces, right? We get a lot of emails, we get a lot of messages on social media, but when you meet people in person, it's harder to forget those people. And you don't want to forget people, but I love challenging myself to recognize fans, and I know how much of an impact that makes, because when I first started out, I was a nobody, and when people remembered who I was, it made a huge deal, so I try to do the same thing. That's cool.
Is your D-Rock over here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's over there.
Are you specifically looking to sign people up?
We want to be here, support podcasting, because that's such a huge medium that we like to support.
Yeah.
We want to grow FinCon as to being a general media conference versus just a blogger conference.
Like I said, one of my favorite people. So we have to go to Downtown Disney now. Why? Not just because I'm a Disney freak, but also because we're holding a meetup there. My assistant and I, we were trying to determine a good place to hold a meetup. This meetup is not a public one, it's for my students of my podcasting course, but I kind of wanted to bring people offsite a little bit, and Downtown Disney is not too far away.
Paying the price, that's a shame, but I gotta say now I can't complain.
I heard this once that people come to you for the content, but then they stay for the community. And so this is what we try to do to make sure that people know they're in the right place, that they got their money's worth for the courses that they take, or that they just found their people finally. So that's the kind of experience I'm trying to provide. Do you want me to floor this really quick to show you?
Oh yes, I'm like, oh God.
Crew that's following me for the day. It's a lot of fun. And we're here for a meetup for the Power Up Podcasting students. Woo! So we're having trouble getting the cameras in. So we're on the phone with Disney Media Relations right now, which is cool. I understand, but it's okay because we're going to do the meetup anyway. And in a moment, you'll either see footage from inside downtown Disney, or you'll see footage afterwards, in which case you would know that we weren't able to get in. If you were to come out with an episode on Monday, for example, and like train your audience to ask questions like that day or Tuesday, then on Thursday or Friday you come out with your answers to people's questions about that episode that just happened. Just like being able to A, get a course up, but B, on top of that, have people take the time to come out and gather together and be here. It just means a lot, because I know it's, you know.
You've given us a community, and I think that's the big thing. And you know, I've been following you since 2011. You know, kind of been like a Pat stalker. And anytime I get the chance, have you met Pat? Have you gotten smart passive income? Because I want to give back, even though I don't have the ability to give back the way that you do. I appreciate your transparency and how you do that. So
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for creating the environment.
Oh, thank you guys. No, really. If there's anything I could ever do for you, any of you, let me know, okay? Your audience can relate to more, right? They're just a couple steps ahead versus like when I have Tim Ferriss or Gary Vaynerchuk on my show, people enjoy it because it's Tim Ferriss and Gary Vaynerchuk, right? But it's not as inspirational as like just a person nobody's ever heard of who's done something. Like Cassidy over there is going to be on my show soon. I interviewed her because I met her and she's like, oh, I followed you for a while, and I was like, she's like, you help me out, and I'm like, tell me what you do. And she's like, I make 6 figures in succulents. Like teaching people how to plant succulents.
Wow. What?
Succulents.
I love succulents.
Succulents.
And we want to hear examples of people who are not business builders too.
People enjoy that more, yeah.
Yeah.
Like those are awesome.
So Cassidy will be on. We were trying to figure out like a cool name for the episode, like a business that doesn't succulent, or like. But it just didn't work. It just didn't work out. Because it does succulent. It is about succulents. So anyway, it's too hard to figure out. But like I know that episode's going to do really well because, like you said, it's about something that people would have no idea that they could, you know, make 6 figures from. So it's going to help expand people's minds.
Ask questions in the middle.
Cool.
We just went and scratched.
What was the talk about?
I was teaching social media hacks to use social media free, but to hack the algorithm so you can SEO each platform
Nice.
using free methods rather than paid, because I think a lot of podcasters are trying to find the free methods.
Yeah, because I haven't had courses before, so it's been really neat to do that.
For the record, he would not have done that if you were not recording.
It's crazy, which begs the question, well, what about the next 5 years? What about the next 10 years? How do you keep...
I figure the next 10 years will take care of themselves, and I worry about today. Because one thing that we know is that uncertainty is guaranteed, and the future is unknown. And if you embrace it, and you're willing to flow with it, and maybe even willing to like be the lead bird in the flock and let everyone glide behind your wing,
Right.
that's when you can do magic. And that's what we're doing, you and I. We're lead birds in our flock, and people are gliding in the tailwind of what we're creating. I'm riffing, man.
Dude, you're ripping real hard
This is
today.
good, huh?
We got it on camera.
Yeah,
too.
this is good stuff.
So that was fun. It is the, not the last day of the event, but the last day that I'm going to be here. I'm going to drive home later and see the family tomorrow. Sometimes it's difficult to balance, wanting to go to these things versus wanting to be at home with the family. Obviously, I would love to be in two places at once, but I know that's not possible. So, I have to be conscious about, the ROI, if you want to say that, if I go to these things. But, it's not about ROI, like return on investments. I think it's like the relationships on investments, the things that come back as a result later. And there's no number that you can look at that you can like see to gauge whether or not this is like a successful outing. To me, if you're making friends, if you're talking, those things will always eventually lead to something better down the road. So for me, I think this was a major success, from the meetup that you saw earlier to just talking to people, building relationships. This is exactly what I wanted to get out of this. So we'll call that a win. And I'm going to hang out just a little bit more. But for those of you watching this, thank you. Let me know what you think of it. I am potentially going to do more of these. And not all the time like Gary Vee, but it's been really fun to have you follow me around today, and I don't know, should I do more? Let me know. But anyway, thanks guys, appreciate you, and I hope this has gotten to give you a little bit of a taste of like what it's like for me at one of these events, and I'll see you again. Peace.